Hello and welcome to another episode of FinTech Focus TV, coming you here from the FIX Americas Trading Conference, and it's been a fascinating day so far. We are delighted to meet now Saba. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Look, one of the big tickets in FIX alongside that, but also Rialto Markets is a business which you're talking about as well.
That's correct.
We're going to go into that. We're going to be talking a little bit about what you're on a panel later on. Some people are saying it's the panel of the day, so I don't know. I'm just reporting what I'm hearing. We're going to go into that and find out a little bit more about it later on. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about yourself and the business.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. So I work for Rialto Markets. I oversee technology and market structure. Rialto Markets is a broker-dealer, and we focus on the private markets. Traditionally, we've been working on the Jobs Act securities. So those are Regulation A, Regulation D, Regulation CF securities, which are really around a new asset class that allows retail to participate a little bit more, a little bit more fluidly.
Okay.
And traditionally, markets were not accessible, like pre-IPO to retail. So before 2012 in the U.S., it was actually illegal to own securities pre-market, pre-IPO. So the Jobs Act of 2012 was signed into law and created these new structures. So our company is built off of that in its origination. So we offer two major components right now. We have primary services, so we help companies raise capital, leveraging our technology. So again, we're a broker-dealer registered in all 50 states and territories. And we've built technology, and I think of us as like a reg tech and a fintech operator in this ecosystem. So we work with issuers, we work with platforms, we work with non-broker dealers and broker dealers to leverage our onboarding processes and our licensed professionals to take in new investors into their offerings. If depending on the statistics you want to follow, there's somewhere between, I've heard numbers between 27 and 32 million companies privately in the U.S. alone.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
that's incredible, isn't it?
Right, and if you can invest in just say, I don't know, 0.5% of the top companies in that market, you're probably going to do pretty well. So the other half of our business is around secondary trading. Yeah. So we have an alternative trading system that allows us to trade those securities so if you bought one as a retail investor, you may have the opportunity to trade it on our alternative trading system. So we just deal with private securities, and it's not like NASDAQ or New York or some of the larger ATSs. This is, sometimes you might see a point-in-time cross, sometimes you might see there might be a central limit order book. So liquidity takes on a slightly different look and feel, but you do have the option to actually trade out of it or buy more of it. Of what you originally had, if you missed it in the primary offering. And the last feather, I guess, in our cap is that our ATS was approved for blockchain or digital ledger technology constructs. So, if the regulators approve of a pure digital asset riding on a blockchain, we're allowed to process it through our ATS and find matches. Right. So that's and again, this is I guess we're future-proofing ourselves with that.
Yeah. It's an interesting phase for the US in general with that whole sort of movement. But
it is.
To me, what that hinges on is that sort of merger of traditional and decentralized finance coming together.
Correct.
And I think part of the whole regulation of the process is the inexorable sort of fusion of the two areas, which gives you an asset class that is a little bit more real. And I think that sort of it goes a long way to sorting out the problems of the sort of rogue traders, the bad players in the space, the bad actors in the space that we've seen over recent years. That's caused the sort of contraction of it, and I guess the scrutiny in the US a bit at the same time.
For sure, and we're not crypto. We were regulated assets only.
Yeah.
So if the the SEC and FINRA aren't okay with it, we're not okay with it. So these are clearly defined as regulated assets. So, again, you could imagine a world where, one of the, there are some, I guess, crypto tokens that have been deemed, or accused of being securities, and they're in the process of, the legal filings and going through those processes. But should one of those actually, become a security, they could come to Rialto and trade. So, we're not exclusively just with private companies. We can also deal with this crypto angle as well. And we've talked internally quite a bit, and with some crypto issuers around how we could bring them into the regulated world.
It's fascinating. So just listening to everything you say, I've known of Rialto for a long time, but to actually hear it like that and that description, it's the scale of it is just incredible, isn't it?
There's a huge market opportunity there. For sure, and and that's just on the crypto angle. I mean, just the private market side alone is massive, as we were talking earlier. 27 to 32 million private companies in the U.S. alone. And when you think about it too, there's not a lot of companies going IPO nowadays. So if you look at, again, some of the Jobs Act securities, Reg CF, Reg A. Reg CF allows you to raise up to $5 million, and you have to file with the SEC and get a stamp of approval from them. Reg A, and there's a couple of tiers of Reg A, I won't go on in all the details, but you can raise up to $75 million every year and have accredited and retail investors side by side. And then Reg D, 506C, allows you to you can raise unlimited amounts of capital, but you can only get it from accredited investors. So we can facilitate all comers in that space.
Fascinating. And then speaking of fascinating, look, we talked about it beforehand, the much hyped panel that you're on later on. Tell us a little bit about what you're talking about and some of the key themes that you want to get across in that and what you want to leave the audience. What are the messages you want to take across from that section? Yeah,
no, thank you. There's a lot of messages, where FIX intersects with crypto and blockchain and DLT constructs is massive. And one of the things I want to get across is that FIX is a layer above all blockchains. It is the interoperability layer in my mind. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm also the Global Steering Committee co-chair for FIX, and I have been for 9, maybe 10 years now. I don't know. I'm losing track, and I've been involved with FIX for over 20 years now. So I'm quite familiar how it works and how to think about it. And I think it's a huge opportunity for crypto to really take off, or blockchain even to take off, because all of the folks at our conference here are leveraging FIX in a very powerful way. They're all very familiar with it. They like how it works, and they can just they can immediately plug it into their ecosystem, because we figured out all of the handshakes. How do you move an order? How do I buy an order? What's the buy sell? What are the symbol side quantity? What's a post-trade message look like? We've got more fixed standards than we remember, actually, and we can dust them off, and they quickly apply to blockchain and digital. So what I'm thinking, and in my mind, is that we can be that normalization layer. So if you want to use whatever your blockchain of choice, whether it's permissioned or permissionless, if they have if they're FIX enabled at some level, maybe there's a middleware layer there, everybody can plug in very quickly.
Yeah. Perfect. We've got an interesting conversation to be looking forward to later on, and I wish you the very best of luck with it.
Thank you.
If people want to find out a little bit more about Rialto, get in touch with you.
Sure.
I know we're going to sort of record a fuller episode going into more details about what we're going to do, I'm hoping.
I'd love to do that, yeah.
But tell us how people can get in touch with you. What's the best way to reach out?
Sure. Rialtomarkets.com is probably the best. And then, please, hit me up on LinkedIn. I always respond. So, just tell me you saw it on your channel here, and I'll definitely accept it.
Good man. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming in. I wish you the very best of luck with the panel.
Thank you very much.
Break a leg with it all. I hope we've warmed you up nicely for it.
Definitely.
And have a great day today.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon on another episode of FinTech Focus TV.